Welcome to 98 Not Out, the cricketing podcast. Remember, as always, tell your friends, spread the word, and today we've got the one and only Bumble. Bumble, great to see you. I gather it's wet and windy up in the north.
Yeah, I'm in the North York Moors, and it's been windy for about a week now. I had a couple of days down at the Test match, first couple of days, which were thrilling. I really enjoyed it. But you're always sort of fingers crossed about the weather at Leeds, and it was fabulous. A full house every day. It was a full house for the first 4 days, and the sun shone on Headingley.
It did. I had to pinch myself. I can't remember the last time I saw Headingley under such sunny skies.
Well, I mean, they do it right as well. And even, the final day when they say, well, it's going to be a great day's cricket at 20 quid. I mean, that is fantastic value to
Yeah.
see, you're going to see a result and see some wonderful cricketers, some fabulous cricketers. And the other thing, what really stood out is that the outfield just lightning fast. If you beat the fielder, it's just four.
Been some fantastic test matches at Headingley down the years. Have you got one that sticks in your mind more than the others?
Well, with Ben Stokes and of course with Ian Botham, you get memorable games. I think the last 10 test matches at Headingley have produced results. So you're getting a great pitch. The atmosphere is brilliant. You get the Western Terrace, which rivals the Hollies stand. It's just like the Hollies stand down at Edgbaston. So it's a good scene. When the sun shines, I don't think there's any better place because the place itself, Headingley, is steeped in history and tradition.
And Yorkshiremen love their cricket as well.
They do. I mean, it was good to read that the appreciation of the spectators for both teams. Cricket that's played like Rishabh Pant played wonderfully well, KL Rahul, and it's appreciated by people who know the cricket.
There's a lot of stuff written and said about the state of red ball cricket and test matches and whatever else. But I mean, we've got this one that's going on. I was at Lord's last week for the World Test Championship final, which was another superb game of test match cricket. I think sometimes people just forget what a fantastic sporting occasion test matches are.
Well, I agree, and the fact remains that when certainly test matches in the UK, the grounds are full. They're
Mm.
absolutely round. They sell out. And so there's a real appetite for spectators and supporters of cricket in the UK, especially. I think what sort of makes it a little bit difficult is you mentioned the World Test Championship, and everybody's got a view on that. It was a fantastic game. It was a wonderful game, but with two very, very good teams. But the system itself is so disjointed that I can't get my head round. You can have a league table, and somebody plays 5 matches and somebody plays 15. And so, we've got to have a better system to arrive at the best two teams. I think that we got the best two teams in there. But it's not, I don't think it's right that great nations like the West Indies are a bit ham-fisted financially. They haven't got the financial clout that the big three have got. And so it's test match cricket that takes a back seat.
You just prodded my memory about, obviously, as you say, test match cricket in this country is in rude health, and obviously Australians still turn up in their droves to watch it. But just sort of going back, and I'm sounding like a bit of an old fogey now, but you would have probably been there, probably in your playing days and coaching days, in, let's say, Bridgetown, Barbados, or Eden Gardens in the 80s, when they were absolute hotbeds of atmosphere and just cracking places if you were lucky enough to play or just be there. They just seem to have sort of tailed away a little bit, which I think is a shame. There seems to be a power shift going on.
Yeah, there is, and it's that financial clout that I mentioned the West Indies, and they dearly love to be competing at the highest level, but it's impossible because they don't have the finance, they don't have the broadcast deal, and it seems or you can argue that the revenue coming into the governing body, the ICC, is not even, well, it isn't. We know that it's not evenly distributed. And the three nations take the lion's share. But, that's a dangerous way to go about because we've had some wonderful cricketers from Sri Lanka, from New Zealand, and from the West Indies. Afghanistan are emerging. Pakistan should be better than they are, and let's hope they will get back. But in elite sport like our sport, like cricket, it's inevitable that you need finance, and you can't just keep it to yourself.
I watched an interesting interview the other day with Nita Ambani, who is the owner of the Mumbai Indians,
Mhm.
and one of these Indian billionaires that we keep reading about that are going to take over cricket. And what was interesting, and then Jared Kimber, I spoke to a couple of weeks ago, was telling me about how all these people, they actually love Test cricket. Test cricket is where they really have a passion. It's not necessarily in the T20. I mean, that's yes, that's all well and good, and that's brought in new audiences and whatever else. But if there was some way that we could get them to prop up or put in some of their vast wealth into supporting Test cricket to get it back up, it might not be quite as if we could persuade them to do it. It might not be quite as rocky a road ahead if that could happen.
No, no, it wouldn't. I mean, and I agree with you. I know that these people, the franchise owners, are passionate about Test match cricket, but if it's so disjointed that I don't call it a series. If you play two Test matches,
No.
that's not a series. Your series are a minimum four. And when you get your teeth into a five-match series, I mean, this is going to be epic. England versus India is going to be fabulous. And they'll go at each other. An India team which is very young and very exciting, and they're led in the attack by the greatest bowler at the minute in Jasprit Bumrah. And England, the way that they play, are going to be aggressive. I think it's going to be a fabulous series. And this series might, from what you're saying about the people who own the franchise, this might just stir them a little bit. Hey, this is good. This is really, really good. Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, let's fill a stadium for 5 days, not just 5 hours.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. But we do it in the UK. We do it, and that won't go unnoticed on the franchise owners who are buying into the 100. That you can get a series in India that isn't attractive, and so you don't get many people there. Really, it doesn't matter in the UK. We will watch Test match cricket.
That's right. That's right. Now, one of the happiest bits of news that I had this last week or so was the arrival on the scene of a new podcast called Stick to Cricket, which is part of the whole overlap branding or whatever you want to call it. We had Stick to Football originally, and now we've got Stick to Cricket. And I was so pleased to see yourself back front and centre alongside some of the more entertaining voices currently of the game, Phil Tufnell, Michael Vaughan, and even Sir Alastair Cook. Tell us how that all came about.
Well, it's been bubbling along for some time, and you're dead right. It's the same people that do the stick to football, the overlap people, and it's in the same studio, same camera guys, same producers. So we're doing the cricket version. We've done one as a pilot, and then I can reveal that we actually have got in the can a wonderful hour with Andrew Flintoff, and it is
Oh,
fantastic.
wow.
And I can also tell you that I'm setting off shortly. I'm going into Manchester, and we're doing it early morning. And our guest tomorrow is none other than Brian Lara.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, so
I'll get the coat.
it is fabulous. I mean, we did the pilot, and it just went. We sort of gelled straight away, and I thought it's going to take us a little bit of time to get up to speed. But now you're dead right. With Vaughan, Cook, and Tufnell, we've got a good squad, and we can bounce off each other. And the set it's set up beautifully. I'm really excited by it. I've not really known what podcasts are, but I'm glad to be a part. I'm glad to be a. It's just a chat. That's all it is. You're
Yeah.
just having a chat.
I think it's, I don't need to tell you of all people, but just how coverage of cricket and how people consume cricket has changed so much, even in the last 5 years, let alone 10 years or so. We're a long way from Peter West sat on top of the pavilion at Lord's with Tom Graveney dodging the loudspeaker. And then there was this long argument of, oh, let's get it back on free to air TV. But when I talk to youngsters, I mean, they're not interested. They consume everything on their phones and they want TikToks and whatever else. But this whole overlap approach to certainly with football and now from what I've seen with cricket is the way forward because I think that's what people want. They want to hear knowledgeable uh, chat about what's going on, but they want a bit of a laugh as well because it's sport at the end of the day. It's serious, but it's not all serious, is it? We've got to have a laugh.
I think that's exactly it. And it's very important that, particularly on the one that we do, that you have that serious side of things, and then you can break off and have a bit of fun with each other, and it engages with the people who are watching. And you're right that younger people are tending to look at telephones, and YouTube is massive. You know, that's a place that you can go and see all sorts of things, and they're on the tablets and on the phones. And so, you know, your market research would look at that sort of thing. And what we're seeing is that if you clip it up, and that's what they call it, technical term, clip it up for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you get thousands, hundreds of thousands of hits. Oh, that's brilliant. You look at that. And what is a ball ache is when you're out and about. When I was out and about as a lad, and you know, I was going into a pub with my mates and lads who I played cricket with and against. There were no mobile phones,
No.
and you know, you could stand there with a pint and enjoy conversation. Now somebody will take a picture and they'll say he's worse for wear. He's had too many, and you know, you're just having a social gathering and enjoying a bit of time. That's so before mobile phones and oh, can I have a selfie? Give us
Oh,
a
yeah.
selfie, come on. And then they don't know how to use it. They don't know which way
Yeah.
it's facing the wrong way. Here, I'll do it. And you finish up taking it. I finish here, I'll do it. I'll take it. Yeah.
Yes. You won't remember this, but that was you and me at the cricket writers' lunch, I think 7 or 8 years ago. I was
Right.
getting
Well,
guilty.
I've not been a member at Cricket Writers for a while. For
Me neither. It
various
was the last
reasons.
time I was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I mean, this is it, and I've seen some of the little clips and tasters, um, and it's just so good, Bumble. It really is, and it's nice to see that other side of Alastair Cook, which I've known Cookie for a very, very long time, and I was part of his benefit year back in 2014. And I think when he was England captain, he was took the role very, very seriously, and he was very good at it, and he was well, we don't need to talk about his batting record, but he was a very head down kind of person. To see him now just relaxed and enjoying himself and getting into the banter, which I've seen before, but I don't think a lot of people have seen that side of him until now.
Well, you know, I think for Alistair, it's like a release that you opening batsman and careful and grinding him out, you know, real brave player, good on the back foot. And he's finished now his career at international level. He's gone into broadcasting and he's working his way through that. And I think that something like this that he's doing is a real release for him. I find him good fun, and he's one of them that you can take a rise out of. He doesn't take offence. You can really have a little go at him, and he doesn't mind. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Darren. Most of the time, he doesn't know that you're just taking a rise out of him.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And then, of course, Tuffers. Uh, I mean, God, you sort of knew when it from his playing days and some of the stuff that was going on. And I think we've seen it from his sort of his approach to his broadcasting career. But again, I think with stick to cricket, between you, you create such a relaxed and informal atmosphere that people can be themselves and not be so, you're not bound by broadcasters and producers banging in your ear and, stick
Yes,
to the
yeah,
script, that kind of thing. You can just sort of go
yeah.
go where you want.
Yeah, it is, and that's it. There's no editorial to it. You just wander along. And with Philip Tufnell, I've known Philip for years, and you know he's a wonderful bowler. At times he could be insecure, but he was always good fun, great fun to be around. but there's a serious side to him. If he gets going about cricket, you've got to listen. He knows what he's on about. I know he's Jack the lad, and he's a wonderful character. But I stop and listen when he gets going about cricket, particularly spin bowling.
Yeah, and of course, and then Varney. It still shocks me that it's 20 years since that
Yeah,
Ashes series. 20
yeah.
years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm exactly the same. That you think you get asked all the time, "What's the best series?" And you say, "Oh, 2005," and you think that it's just 2 or 3 years
Yeah,
ago. 20 years ago, Kevin Peterson, Shane Warne, fantastic series. You couldn't take your eyes off it, and that was on Channel 4,
yeah,
and that was free to air. And they peaked at one stage. I think they peaked at 8 million, which is totally, unbelievably unheard of at cricket. That never happened. And then, for some reason, I mean, it'd be pounds, shillings, and pence that they actually walked away, Channel 4, and then it went on pay-per-view on Sky.
yeah, yeah. That was an incredible. I remember. Uh, I mean, you're right. The viewing figures, people that even weren't interested got sucked in. But for those of us
Mm.
that got it, I couldn't take my eyes off it. I couldn't dare go off to the shop to buy a paper and come back because you'd miss something. The whole series was there was always something going on.
With that series, and I worked on it. I was working for Sky at the time, and you couldn't take your eyes off it. In test matches, you can go round the back and meet a mate for half an hour, have a coffee or whatever, and you've not missed anything. But I'm right with you. You couldn't take your eyes off that. There's something happening all the time. We had a gun attack, absolute gun attack, and they were a wonderful batting line up with Ricky Ponting at number 3, Matthew Hayden, Justin Langer, and we toe to toe with them. So it was the most memorable series. And the other thing I remember about that was the Lloyd's Test match, 2005. Can you remember who played live on the outfield?
Oh, do you
I'll,
know?
I'll tell you, it
Go
was
on.
Jules Holland. J-
Really? Oh, I didn't
Jules
know
Holland played at half time or at lunchtime. Yeah,
that.
yeah, a real honky tonk piano. It was brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. I remember I was there day one, 17 wickets going down. What a
Mm.
day's cricket that was. Ah, incredible. Jules Holland, yeah. I was just thinking, we talk about anniversaries, and we're just saying about, 20 years ago. Well, your mate Clive Lloyd, it's 50 years since he lifted the World Cup for the first time for the West Indies. 50 years.
Yeah, I saw Clive a couple of weeks ago. I think what's he just had a new knee. He's
Oh.
just had a new knee. Jeremy Corney's just had a new hip. So, I've got a titanium knee, so we're like bionic men. Um, what a player Clive was, and up where I live in the North Yorkshire area, in the next village to me, was a member of that winning team. He lives there, lives in the next village.
Well, Clive
And
Lloyd.
90, no, was it 1975,
Yeah.
1976? When was it? 75.
75. 75.
Yeah. In the next village is a fella who played in that team.
Who's that? 75. Not Van Burn Holder, is it?
No,
Um,
I'll give you his
Greenwich?
initial.
Huh?
No, I'll give you his initials. CK.
CK. Collis King.
Yes.
Another
He, he,
Guyanese.
yeah, he lives up here, does Collis, and he played for Colin Graves' cricket team, which is Dunnington Cricket Club. And Collis played there, and he's just stayed here. When it gets cold in winter, he clears off back to Barbados.
That sounds like a good move. That does. That sounds like a good move. Um, so yeah, I mean it's a year of anniversaries and that. I'm just thinking about for a proper laugh. Are you thinking of getting NASA on to stick to cricket? You could have hours of fun there.
We've got a list, a hit list of people who we'd like to get on, and you're looking for interesting subjects, interesting people who've got a tale to tell. And so, I'm looking forward to, because we just get told, and by the way, your guest is, and so tomorrow I'm looking forward to that. We'll probably just talk about golf.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And I think that's good though. If you don't have an agenda, you can just, like how I tried to do on this. It's 6 years now, it's 98 not out's been going. And I think it's better if you don't have a script, if you don't have prepared questions, whatever else, and just converse. I think it just makes it a better listen.
Well, that's apparently, so I'm told that's what podcasts are. Just get together with some mates, get together and have a glass of wine or half a beer or what have you, and just chew the fat, just chat away.
Yeah, yeah.
And every now and again, you might swear. Anyway, they bleep that out. They put a
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's such a better environment. I think that's why it's so popular. So I'm so glad to have seen it uh, appear because the other thing is as well. You can't be too po-faced. And I think given your team and then the caliber of the guests that you're getting, you do have that wonderful balance of being taken seriously for the experiences that you've all got collectively, but also the fact that whenever I sort of look at anyone that I kind of admire or whatever else, and it goes back to when I was at school about 100 years ago, and my history teacher, who was a big cricket fan, and he used to talk about Robert Walpole and Disraeli and all these people, and he used to say, judge these people by would you like to be sat down the pub having a pint with them? And that's never left me that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you always get asked who would you like to have round a dinner table, and there'd be nothing better for me than Mick the tractor driver who lives up the road. He'd be great because I know what he's like. Jeff the farmer, Jeff the butcher. We'd have a great time. But the other one I'd have would be Angus Young, the guitarist for AC/DC. And so, I'd love to spend half an hour with him. I mean, fabulous. What an entertainer.
He still wears his schoolboy outfit on stage, doesn't he? From
He
what
does. He still wears like his satchel. He's got his satchel on the back, some short pants, and his school cap. Playing heavy metal rock guitar.
Oh yeah, yeah. My wife's well into all of that, and so
Yeah.
quite often I hear that ringing around this house. So yeah. Well, Bumble, always great to catch up, and I've got to say a heartfelt thanks because you've been so supportive to me and the podcast for all the years it's been going, and one of our most popular guests as well. Every time you come on, it gets huge. I don't know, do you call it hits or ratings or whatever? I don't know what the
Yeah. Yeah.
term is. But always entertaining, always engaging. And before I go, up the regiment,
To the
to the
regiment. I wish
regiment.
to the regiment. I wish I was there. Early doors.
Brilliant. All
Brilliant.
right, Bumble, great to catch up. And as I will heavily remind everyone to subscribe to Stick to Cricket. Just Google Stick to Cricket on Overlap and thank me later. Bumble, take care and we'll catch up soon.
Pleasure. Thanks, Darren. Thank you.